Take that bean. One bean.
Wunderschönen guten Morgen, Leute aus Kolumbien, Salento. Schaut euch mal diesen Ausblick an. Es ist jetzt kurz nach 6. Ich habe hier gerade angefangen, ein paar Videos zu schneiden. Und schaut mal, was mich da besucht hat. Guten Morgen, Pferdi. Wunderschön, oder? Das da hinten ist das Haus, in dem wir sind. Der Ausblick hier. Einfach Wahnsinn. So, wir laufen jetzt 4 Stunden lang auf eine Kaffeefarm und schaut euch den Ausblick hier mal an. Wir sind auf über 2600 Meter. Wunderschön.
We got 3 main species of coffee bushes. The first one is the one that we call Iberica, which is this one. The second one is the one that we call Robusta. Unfortunately, we don't have Robusta here, so we cannot show it to you. And the third one is the one that we call Arabica. Arabica is the main species from which we get the whole production in this place. This one requires a lot of space to grow. And in that way, of course, the owners of this place will not have a good business with this one. And that's why we don't have any production from it. Now guys, I mentioned to you before that we got 3 main species. There is like different varieties per each one of these species. I'm gonna show to you the 2 varieties that we got in here. They come from the Arabica species. Okay? Now please guys, follow me here. Now we're gonna hit. The first one is the one that you can see right behind you. That one in there. We call that variety the Castillo variety. Right? It is like castle. So the Castillo variety, we can identify that one because it grows a lot in volume, more than in height, and it has a really high quantity of cherries. So we can say that the main feature from this variety is the quantity. The second one that we got here, it is this one, the Tabi variety. Okay? What happens with the Tabi variety? Actually, that one grows a lot in height, more than in volume. This one here doesn't have a really high quantity of cherries, but the main feature of this one is the quality. So guys, Tabi Castillo. Here, of course, we can identify this one because it grows a lot in height. That's why this one here, it is the tallest variety that comes from the Arabica species. So actually, most of us Colombians got a problem, is that we don't grow a lot. So what do we do with this one? We cut it at the top in order to make it grow more in volume than in height. And in that way, it will be easier for us to pick the cherries from this one here. Now guys, obviously here we got the bamboo ladder, but actually we don't call it bamboo, we call it guadua. A more traditional name. I'm going to show to you the process of renewal of the coffee bush. First of all, let's take a look at this one. This one here has been cut up to 30 centimeters. I mentioned to you before that we got 5 years of period of production in the coffee bush. 5 years in which the coffee bush will give cherries. So in the first 2 years the production is low, but it is increasing. In the 3rd year we get the best production of cherries in the coffee bush. In the 4th and the 5th year the production is going down. After those years we cut it up to 30 centimeters. We make it grow again and we wait 2 years for it to happen. Right? Now we got here a time of 7 years approximately. We only carry out this process twice. So if we do the math, we will be able to say that it will take approximately from 21 to 22 years of the complete useful life of a coffee bush. After all those years, we cut it completely. And then we spread the leaves all over the soil in order to play the role as compost for the other bushes. We also use the wood as firewood. That is the way in which you can see that here we reuse everything. And we also got a certification of quality that has to do with it. It is called the 4th C. Now here, if you take a look around, you will get to see plantain trees all over this place. Plátano trees. Have you guys tasted patacón? Yeah? Patacón? No? Actually, patacón is a very special and traditional type of dish that we got in here. Actually, we use it in almost every food we eat in this country. right? So actually the platano trees, they also play a role in being a benefit to the coffee bush. First of all, they provide nutrients to the soil. As they provide nutrients to the soil will be more appropriate for the coffee bushes to grow. The second role that they play, they provide shade to the coffee bush. The more shade we get from them, then it will improve the quality of the coffee beans. You're gonna get into the plantations here or there. You will try to look for red cherries or yellow cherries. If you don't find so many of them, it is okay, don't feel bad for that. It is because here, right now, we are just at the beginning of the harvest time, okay? The first one occurs between March and May, the second one is between September and November. So maybe if you go a little bit deeper, you will get to find some of them. If you find like 5 or 6, it will be okay. Anyway, if you hear my voice, you come back here again, okay? Please guys, try to not to get lost. I mean, just kidding, this place is not that big, but anyway, be careful with the stakes where you step on so you don't fall, okay?
So, wir sind jetzt dabei, selber Kaffeebohnen zu pflücken. Bis jetzt ist ganz interessant. Schaut mal, wie hier so eine Plantage ausschaut. Alles grün. So schauen die Arabica-Bohnen jetzt aus, wenn sie noch nicht reif sind, also komplett grün. Und wir suchen aber rote und gelbe. Hat aber gesagt, dass sie jetzt in der Anfangsphase sind, das heißt, wir werden hier nicht so viele finden. Da ist eine rote. Zack. Die Ausbeute von 5 Minuten Kaffee sammeln.
Man sieht, wie motiviert der Justin war.
The one that you may consider the best one for you. Maybe the best red color or the best yellow color. Let's open it with our nail.
Oh.
Why? Because if you found only one bean, it is a combination of the 2 beans that were inside the cherry. In that way, we will get a more intense type of bean. We call that bean the pea berry. We also sell it here in that presentation. Now guys, what are we gonna do with one of the beans? We're gonna put it in our mouth, like this. Or
Most sweet.
yeah, it is sweet, right?
Yeah. No.
So guys, that tree got bent, and then we're gonna reuse it as compost, alright? We got a lot of damaged trees here these days. Now guys, here we are in the compost area. Let's take a look at it. The compost area is basically 60% organic material. It is the waste from the animals. Also, we use the skin from the fruits. And also, we use the rest of the cherry that you peeled before. Alright? We also use it as compost. So you can throw in there and make a wish. Nice. So guys, if you come closer, you will get to see that here we drop the coffee beans. And the cherries will get dropped on the other side. This part is basically an equivalent of this part of the machine, right? So when the workers bring the cherries, they weigh the cherries in here. After that, they drop the cherries in this part. And then the cherries will go through the whole process in the machines that we got down. In here we got these 2 machines, okay? They both play the same role. But in here, when the workers bring the cherries, okay, they drop them here. And the cherries go through this part of the machine. In here, they will get separated from the coffee beans, right? We are peeling them. So after the coffee beans get peeled, then they will be in this place of the machine, alright? In this part of the machine, they will get washed. Actually, this part of the machine also has its own name. It is called the desmucilaginadora. Yeah, really nice tongue twister, you know? Desmucilaginadora. What happens in here? In here, we can say that we remove part of the mucilago that is in the coffee bean, right? The slimy substance that you tasted before. So the mucilago gets removed in this place, alright? It is in order to give the coffee a more balanced taste. We put the coffee beans on top. We make this machine work with fire. This fire burns from 50 to 80 Celsius degrees approximately. It takes from 2 to 3 days to put the coffee beans to dry. This one here has a capacity of 1 ton of coffee beans. So that's why it takes that time to dry the coffee beans. Now guys, this machine, we only use it during harvest time, okay? We got an alternative way of putting the coffee beans to dry. It is more manual, more handmade, more traditional. And that is the one that I'm going to show to you. But first, something that I should mention to you, that here we use for the fuel, for the fire in the machine, we also use something from the coffee beans. showed to you before, we only use that machine during harvest time, okay? We use this place during the whole year. It's basically a greenhouse, what we call the greenhouse de marquesina. In there we don't have any plants, only we put the coffee beans to dry in there. It takes from 2 to 3 weeks approximately. And now I'm gonna show it to you. We're gonna go through this place, okay? So please, come here with me. Take that bean, one bean. Let's do something. Let's take that bean that you took from here and then let's peel it, right? Let's peel that bean. Now guys, that you have peeled that bean, we got here 2 elements, right? We got, first of all, the thing that we peeled actually is the one that we call the almond. We can call this one the green almond or the gold. This one here is a really nice source of combustion. This one here. Now guys, of course, the almond is the one that goes through the final process in the coffee. This is the one that we put to roast, right? In the roasting process, it is where it gets all the brown color, the fragrances, the aromas, and the flavors. Everything is in there. So guys, nowadays we also use a machine to peel the coffee beans. We apply vibration to the coffee beans that have not been peeled yet. So in that way, we separate the sisco from the almond. Of course, this process is more automatic and it takes a lot less time. Now guys, here I'm gonna show to you the processes in which we put the coffee beans through in order to get different notes of flavor in the beverage. First of all guys, here we got the almond separated from the sisco, what I showed to you previously. This one here, okay? They are separated. Now the first process in which we put the coffee beans in order to get different notes of flavor. This one here is the one that we call lavado or washed. What happens with this type of coffee? The best name that we can give to it is pergamino. This one here is the one that goes through the whole process that I showed to you before. First, this one gets washed, then we have to put it to dry, then we have to peel it, and then we have to put it to roast. In that way, we are getting a more balanced taste in the coffee. Pergamino coffee. This one here is the one that we call the honey coffee. What happens with the honey coffee? This one here, it is a process in which we skip one part of the process that I showed to you before. So we don't wash this one in order to keep the mucílago in the coffee bean. So in that way, after that we put it to dry with still the mucílago in there. In that way we are getting the sweetest type of coffee that you will find, the honey coffee. This one here is the one that we call the natural process. What happens with the natural process? This one, it is the coffee bean that is still inside the cherry. So we have to put it to dry in that way. We don't peel this one at the beginning. In that way, after that, of course, we have to peel it after we put it to dry, and then we have to put it to roast. In that way, we are getting the most fruity taste in the coffee. This one here is the one that we call the Passion 300. Why the funny name, Passion 300? This one here, it is a process, a very special process that we created here in the farm. We created this process here, it is a process of fermentation. So in here we put the coffee beans into fermentation. Okay, it has different stages of fermentation. All those stages, they have a quantity of time of 300 hours. In that way, of course, we are giving to the coffee a more winey taste. Also guys, here we got the pea berry, the very special case in which you will get only one bean inside the cherry. This one here, we can identify this one because this one has a really round consistency. It feels like a ball if you touch it. Now here, we also got the pasilla. What happens with the pasilla? This one here is basically the most traditional name that we can give to the coffee that we classify as second-class coffee or the lowest quality coffee, the pasilla. This one here is the one that stays here in the country. Actually, we don't use this type of coffee. We distribute it to the National Coffee Federation. So once it is in the National Coffee Federation, they decide to put it into the whole process in order to distribute this coffee to the most commercial brands. All right? And of course, this one here is the cheapest coffee that you will find here inside the country. The best one is the one that we export from here, and also the one that you will drink here, and the one that we sell in the reception. Right behind the window, we got the roasting machine. The roasting machine, we carry out the process basically of roasting the almonds. Okay? So in that way, the almonds get all the characteristics, all the fragrances, all the flavors, and also the brown color. They also get the aromas. So So in that process, it is basically the final process in which we put the coffee beans through. The almonds in here, because in that way, it is an alternative way of roasting the coffee. We can say that we get the most homemade type of roasting in that way. This is the one that actually these small farms use in this place. We also got here the medium roast, the one that we use here in the farm, the one from which we consider we can get the best characteristics from the coffee that we're gonna drink. Also guys, here we got the light roast, the one that actually it is not meant for normal consumption, okay? The ones that use the light roast, it is used mainly by professional tasters, okay? They can feel the notes of flavor in the coffee in a better way. That actually, according to normal people, okay, this type of roast doesn't play that role. Now guys, so actually we should use a coarse grind with those ones in there. Why? Because they got really big filters. So in that way the coffee doesn't go through the filters. And you can extract the characteristics from the coffee in a better way. Here we also got the medium grind, and that is the one that we use with methods that require filtration. For example, here we got the Chemex or the V60, or this one here, the one that we are going to show to you. We call this one here La Media, El Colador, or the sock. Why? Because it looks like a sock, of course. And this one is the one that we are going to show to you here, because we can find this one almost everywhere here in Colombia. This one here is the most common one that we use. And also we are going to use a medium type of grind. So guys, here we also got the fine grind, the one that works best with methods that require pressure. For example, here we got the espresso machine or the air press, this one here. We also got the Japanese siphon, but the Japanese siphon is a completely different type of method. Now guys, we're going to grind the coffee. 1 spoon like this one per cup. We got 20 cups here. So here we got 5 already ground, 5 and a 5. And now we're going to grind another 5. 1, 3, 4, 5, and just a little bit more. We pour the water twice until we finish it, okay? Now, just do as I do. First in the middle, and then around, making circles. Very soft, very gentle. And then we wait, just a little bit. Yeah? You have to wait there. Okay?
Jetzt der Kaffeetest.
Uno nomás.
Schmeckt schon ganz anders.
Hide the beer taste in the coffee.
Anders,
Well,
oder?
we add milk, or we add sugar, or we add...
So, und ich bin jetzt stolzer Besitzer einer originalen kolumbianischen Kaffeemaschine und so einen Kaffee, dass ich auch daheim immer geilen Kaffee machen kann. Schaut euch mal an, wie schön das hier ausschaut. So eine Holzform, oben der Sockel, wo der Kaffee reinkommt und dann der Tee. Hammer, oder?